Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. I got my everybody's favorite What Would Lemmy Do poster in the background. I'm in the wood shop and today we're going to do something really neat. We're going to glue up a maple top and do a book match. We're going to contour a mahogany back, and then we're going to glue that maple top onto the mahogany back and bend the contour, bend the maple top over the contour, and that will be the comfort contour on the front of what will become a Jazzmaster style guitar that we call the Super Casanova. I thought this would be a fun one to do, and I'm going to be doing it in conjunction with a workshop that starts Monday, but I want to get some of this stuff done before the guys get here, so I'm not having to do a bunch of woodwork instead of instructing, which my main job while the guys are here is making sure they don't cut fingers off and instructing on guitar building in that order. So let me show you what I've got happening over here, and we'll jump in. This is probably going to be over the course of a couple of days because, you know, glue has to dry. So let me show you the maple top that we're going to start with, and then we will we'll work through all the other stuff. Sounds like fun? I think it sounds like fun. All right, let's do it. Let's jump right in. Hey guys, let's take a quick commercial break here. I know I say that all these videos don't have any ads, and what I mean by that is there's no ads for like Viagra or Propecia or car insurance or anything like that. So these videos are all brought to you ad-free, which means that we don't make any money from YouTube. So if you guys want to help support our channel, please consider going over to our Patreon page and or joining us on YouTube. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys cool content like this in an ad-free setting. Now, some of you guys are going to go, well, wait a minute, what's this ad? You're doing an ad for yourself. Well, yeah, it's my channel. I can do an ad for myself. I'm not doing this because I'm this great philanthropist. But anyway, like the video, subscribe to the video, leave a comment in the comment section, and thanks for watching, you guys. Now back to the show. So here is my maple top, and it's, the book match goes like this, okay? The book match can also go like this. I don't particularly care for this being the center section of my book match. I want to get as much of this other stuff as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it together with this being my center section. Now, as you can probably obviously see, there's much too big of a gap here to glue this together and have it look nice. So we're going to have to run this through the jointer. However, one of the things that I'm noticing is if I just go and start running this through the jointer right now, one, it may take a lot of passes to get it right, and my book match might get off. So I'm going to show you what I do in that instance. So I'm going to fold my piece back up here. Okay, wait. Because I definitely want this to be my center section. So I'm going to draw a little arrow so I don't forget. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get this together and tape it so that it doesn't move. This will all make sense here in a second. Okay. And make sure I'm not blocking the camera. So I'm going to tape this guy together such that it doesn't move. And see, I'm already confused, so I'm glad I drew that little arrow there, which which side I want to use as my seam side. Okay. So now my board isn't going to wiggle around on me. Put another one here too, just to be safe. Okay. So now my boards aren't going to move around. I'm going to take a straight edge and just cut off the minimum amount. I'm going to draw a line, and what I'm going to do with that line is I'm going to take this over to the bandsaw, and I'm going to trim it out on this line, and that's going to get me a lot closer for when I'm running it through the jointer. So I'm going to run over to the bandsaw right now and do that, and then I'll open it back up and you'll see what I'm talking about.
So I hope you guys can see this. I trimmed just the littlest little bitty bit off and just kind of made it a little straighter. Okay, but don't worry, we're going to run it across the joiner next, and it's going to make our seam look nice and clean. But I'm going to show you here. It's going to be a little better. See, it's a little bit better. There's still some gaps, but my joiner will take care of all that. Okay. So I'm going to mark it. Now we'll go over to the joiner and we'll run this across the joiner blades and get nice smooth glue up surface. Now some people are going to say you can't use a joiner for figured maple. To that I say bull corn. You have to go a little slower, and if you have the sharper the blades, the better. On my joiner, I have those rotatable carbide cutters. It's one of the Shellooe bit assemblies. So if you have a dull blade, yeah, it's going to suck. And if you have if you try to go too fast, you can experience chipping. Just go slow and take your time. If you don't feel like doing that, you can use a shooting board and a regular hand plane. I don't like to do that. What I would say is that if you take like a straight edge and put this on your on your piece and then try to route it using like a 1/2 inch bearing bit, you will definitely get some tear out doing that. But a joiner blade is so much bigger around that you get less tear out. So again, I'm not saying that you have to use a joiner to do this. You can absolutely do it by hand. But for all the people who say you can't do it, that's a lot of hogwash. So I'm going to show you. It's easy to get a nice, good, clean glue up surface and have something that looks really fantastic. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind though, when you're using the joiner, if you do one pass on this side and one pass on this side, and this side gets cleaned up, but this side doesn't get all the way cleaned up, you need to take 2 passes on this side, then you need to go back and take the same number of passes on the other side. So that way your book match looks right, okay? So if you have 1 pass on this side and 1 pass on this side and your book match looks good, cool. If you have 5 passes on this side and you only need 1 to get it to go on this side, you need to do all 5 passes on this side so your book match looks right. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the joiner, we'll clean it up, and then we'll start gluing. I'm moving my body instead of moving the camera. Speaking of moving, I moved my fence over to the end. That's kind of an old school trick. It's not really a trick. It's just I want to use a different part of my, my cutter assembly than the one I've been using, which is with the fence shoved all the way to the other side. So that's why I moved the fence, in case anyone's wondering. Now we're going to check and make sure that our glue joint looks good, dry, and then we'll glue it together. So I like to hold it up to the light and make sure that it is light tight. And in fact, it is. So we're good to go. Now we'll go ahead and get ready to glue it up. Okay, gang, it's been over 24 hours since I glued this up. And in fact, the astute observer might see that I got a little bit of sun in the last 24 hours. So let's pull all of the clamps and all the weights off of this and have a look at our top. I don't know if I'm in the old camera here. All right, it looks pretty good, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and run this through my thickness sander and clean up all the glue. And the reason I want to do that next is I want to see how thick this is so I know how much to take off of my mahogany back. So let me get this run through the thickness sander, and let me get my mahogany back ground down to the right thickness, and then I'll meet you guys back here. All right, gang. Whew, it's getting hot in here now. So I got my top and my back thickness to the point where when they're combined, they equal 1 3/4 inches. I've also trimmed out the top so that it fits on my back perfectly, and I drilled some holes so that I could put some pins in my back. When I go to glue it up, it'll exactly perfectly match. Now, if you might remember, one of the things that I talked about in the first part of the video was how I was going to bend the top onto the back, so for a comfort contour. So I've actually gone ahead and done that, and I just did that with very simple tools. I used my bandsaw and a sander, okay, a palm sander, just to get it nice and smooth, okay? Then I went ahead and used my fret slotting saw and put some relief cuts into the top. So now, when I put this top onto the back, I can fold over the I can fold the top down and actually bend it to match the contour. Now don't worry, this is going to be bound, so it's not a big deal. If you see some of those little cuts, they go about halfway through, and they're 23 thousandths, okay? You could probably get away with a sunburst and you know, do some fill in there and make it look right. But this is going to be pretty cool, and my top is going to match up with the back. Now, if you have a vacuum bag, this would be the perfect time to utilize it. I have one, I just don't know where it is. I've looked all over the shop for it, and I'm just done. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in my my hydraulic press, and I'm going to put it halfway in, and this little part right here, I'm actually going to hand clamp. Let me show you what that looks like. But first, you got to get some glue on this dude. All right, that looks pretty good. Now at some point in this video, someone in the comment section is going to say something like, you could have, you should have, etc., bent the top with steam. And you know, you're right, I could have. This is just the way I do it. If you like to bend stuff, if you like to bend wood, cool, you should do that. So one of the biggest insults that you can pay to me, if you really feel like insulting me, is to say anything starting with the two words, you should, or you should have. So I don't really care what, you know, there's lots of ways to do things. I get that. You can do it any way you want, but you're watching this video because you want to know what I do. So yeah, there you go. So don't tell me all the stuff I coulda, shoulda, woulda done, but here's what I did. If you don't like it, I totally understand. Not a big shake. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for another 24 hours. We'll come back and have a peek at it tomorrow and have a look at it. Maybe we'll even rough cut it out and see what our glue joint looks like. Remember, we're gonna bind everything, so it doesn't really matter if there's a slight glue gap, but I don't think there will be. And just like that, with a little TV magic, it's the next day. Let's take a look at our glue up job. Again, this is not the way that I would want to do every single one of these if I was doing a bunch of them, but I think it's going to work for what we had to do. And given that I rarely do this kind of instrument with a top that's kind of folded over, if you will, I think this works just fine. There'll probably be people, like I was saying, I don't even remember what I was talking about yesterday, but there'll probably be people who are like, I wouldn't do it like that, I'd do it like that. And you know, if you do most of your guitar building on the internet, then that's fine. All right, so here's our guitar, and you know what? It actually looks pretty good. I'm going to draw my outline on here and cut it out, and we'll see what it looks like. But as you can see, I mean, you can tell it's got like a cool fall away there. So I'm going to draw my Jazzmaster shape on here and cut this one out, and then let's have a look for real.
Well, guys, I must say, I think this looks pretty good. I do have a little gap right here that, again, the binding is going to cover that up, so I'm not too worried about it. The wood's obviously not going anywhere, and if I really get to where I'm feeling bent out of shape, I can mash some glue in there. It's just a little bit. So you can do this a lot of different ways, but that was a quick and dirty way to do it. And I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. I've never done it like this before. I've never put half of this in the press and then squeeze a bunch of clamps around the edge. And it worked okay. So again, if I was going to do a lot of guitars like this, I would probably find my vacuum bag and go back to that technique. But this looks pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, all the Texas Toast Guitars videos are ad-free as of right now. Some people are telling me what they think I should do about ad-free and this, that, and the other, and I appreciate it. What I'd appreciate it more, though, if you went over to our Patreon page or joined here on YouTube and sent us $1 a month. It would really help us out a lot. If you left a comment in the comment section, that would help us out a lot. If you liked the video, it would help us out a ton. And if you can't do any of that stuff, financial stuff, if what you could do is share the video as many places as you could possibly think of. Of course, liking the video, commenting on the video also doesn't cost anything. So, oh, and subscribing doesn't cost anything either. So we got a lot of new subscribers, and that's cool too. So welcome, everybody. So hope you liked this video. If you have any questions about what we did, please leave them in the comment section below. If you just want to tell me how handsome I am, I always love that. But until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel, and then maybe I'll subscribe and go leave comments. So anyway, I don't even know where I am in my spiel. But thanks for watching. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.